break, quake cities off the cliff, down deep sea into mountain, continental ship. The continent could drown or rip, there's more, think not. You don't know what I'm into, where I'm at. It's all in the mental, smack all instrumentals around me. It's all about my circle squared up, but my nature, fear not. Love, bravery, am I didn't make her. She made me to create the world, the home she in, shape her skin, contain a frame, no minor. She a major wind angel and grew up educated on the demon's veiny, scaly wings, ranger people, bullshit, the motherfucker for that. Got nothing to back, Negro black colored, on the chopping block, still on the block, chopping whatever they rap, rob, recover the chop, the world's shaking. Still my words, just take it in, hear me speaking out your ear holes. How can you retain a quote? Stop, your brains bang, shot, but still you won't crow. Commander in chief, masters turn sheep at the battle. And stay child of the Eve, and wolf for my white beats. At times a werewolf, they attack me and turn food for the garden. Cold water make a black sea. Black male, black coat, black blue. Black list, black ball, black shoes. Black pill, black cheese, black news. There's no such thing as black man. Black pill, black coat, black blue. Black list, black ball, black shoes. Black pill, black cheese, black news. But no such thing as a black man. Roses all red, green, gun, copper, shot, pop, bust, and he left, didn't leave no weeds, no seeds. I'm his skull and his backbone ripped with his voice tone. Moms are saying a heartbeat, consanguinity though. Got some board fights, now I'm civil. I get you with my pen, no more dog fights or scribbles. Enforcing treaties, I'm a caustic greedy. Dressed in costumes to greet me. You think you know how this is gonna end, really? Show the beginning. Apocalypse now, the dead don't know about the living. And why I can't kill them. Why I try to lift them. Stand, more mass don't make you a bigger man. It's mental. Just keep on. Black male, black coat, black blue. Just keep black list, black ball, black shoes. Black male, black cheese, black news. No such thing as black man. Black male, black coat, black blue. Black list, black ball, black shoes. Black male, black cheese, black news. But no such thing as a black man.
We have traveled a long way and have seen many curiosities, but none as perplexing as a planet we stumbled upon called Earth.
I saw a praise of a new 1439 was coming, 1492, please. Time ain't nothing new. A little nut was age 3, really only 2. Sun's bright, say he went there last year. It was past Wednesday at 2:52 afternoon. Sun giant still walking. Then they eat cake, end up steak stuff on steel plates. If Moors don't wake from the dream state, it's season for the meal. T-Rex for their pets, reach their thigh or their heel. Take time, laugh now, skip my take. If Moors don't wake from the dream state, season for the meal. T-Rex for their pets, reach their thigh or their heel. Take time, you laugh now, skip my take. Have a field day. stop the two-speed, permanent fences. Who's playing with your cool feet? Parade can't go physical 2 keys. To elect stepping, each side, everything jump high if you quick or you just start. Looking like a 2-cent stamp, length and width of land of the Nod.
Sons of God and daughters of earth in the flesh. This is no myth, research the legends of Gilgamesh. Preserve human skeletal fossils, surprise. Scientists and archaeologists know Olmec heads are life-size. Keep my ancestors' giant femur bones in museums. Titans fighting Tyrannosaurus Rex in Greek coliseums. Slap pterodactyls out the air, riding thesaurus. Walking, leaving footprints in granite floors. Advocating for bath, resisting Christian doctrine. First eye high beams when sight is locked in. We are not speaking elephantitis or giantism. Look us up, we found in journals in Hinduism. Similar stories told in multiple cultures. Sumerians 12-foot axes for agriculture. Grapes, 4 in the hand, watermelon size onion. Jack-sized beanstalks, not Goliath or Bunyan. Mines can't grasp giant wasp and Cyrus. Side and Trident was fought by 3 giant cyclops. With 1 eye, get your head, sons of man, heckle 'em. Claiming Canaanite makes us Enoch's Nephilim.
Giants born, noticed that birds within large forms of such a way statues from back in the day were actually the norm, able to perform feats with large blocks of concrete and carving in diorite, ensuring facial features right at heights A+. If bones is what we trust to say dinosaurs exist, then human giants must. A lust for information has encouraged many chasing forms of evidence like ancient documents and footprints. My logic is what makes sense. There's no defense to ideas, just what is and is not clear. Then I hear that some say it was an exaggerated way in which they represented the artist intended simply to represent the personas with the idea of great. And if any endeavor they cleverly chose to elaborate, rarely invest in debate, just state perspective and objective. Yes, I think it feel the real and promote proof in our collective.
Giants aren't scary. Not even that terrifying leader, a monstrous giant with 2 heads.
Keep reading, Mother. It's just a story.
Is it?
Islam Moors, we are here. We're here. Pop up. You know how the pop up goes. Because it's always something. It's always something. So yesterday, we did our session yesterday. And, put out some information in regards to the situation. So get up this morning now and noticing that a lot of stuff bled over into today. Like how is stuff bleeding over into today? What the hell's going on? Like other classes don't go like this. Like what's really going on? There's no days of comments of other classes. 200 comments or what, something crazy. No way. But we realize that people are mad. I don't know why they're mad. I really don't know why they're mad. But I know that they are upset.
Mad. Crazy.
Now, why would us saying that we're Moors have these people so upset? All we're doing is saying that we're Moors. Nobody gets upset when we said we were black. Nobody got upset when we said we were Negro. Nobody got upset when we said we were colored and African, came here on a slave ship, indigenous, Indian, black, from the cosmos, whatever. Nobody got mad. Nobody said anything. Everybody was cool with it. Now, as soon as we saying that we're Moors, there's all this drama. It's because we're saying we're Moors. Now, never in Canaanland history have you seen 44 thumbs down. From 18 hours ago. Now, we already know the higher thing because the 4-4 is letting us know something. Even though it's the thumbs down, it's still 44 there. So it's letting us know something from the thumbs up side. So there was 5 on this one. So like we talked about yesterday, they brought up the Seinfeld with the Moops and the Moors. And wanted to remind everybody that when we say go on this channel and this channel doesn't have any content and Einstein is the thing, the picture, you know that you're onto something because people are getting sent here. Now, never ever had a comment from this individual ever, except after what we did yesterday.
Yep.
Never ever had anything sent. No, you might think that what we're doing is to deal with them. No, this is always and forever about uplifting fallen humanity, putting information out regardless of what's going on. Make every situation be a class so people could learn something. Because our people have a problem learning. So because they have a problem learning, they end up learning the hard way. Instead of just learning when the stuff was easy. So we've been telling people, Moors got Noble Drew Ali out the way. In order for Europeans to be doing what they're doing right now, Moors assisted. So we don't want you to think today as some, we're against Europeans or something like that. Or we have a problem with the Europeans. Now, we know some very good Europeans that they ride with the fact that we're Moors and this is Canaanland and all that, and they don't dispute anything. They have no dispute. So just like we tell the Hebrew Israelite people, who we know Hebrew Israelites who are Moors, so what the hell are you talking about? The same thing we're talking to these Europeans. We know Europeans who are down with the Moorish paradigm. And these Europeans down with the Moorish paradigm don't question anything. They don't say Candyland and all that. Because this is for the people who want it. Or anybody else. It's only for the people who want it. What? Now, we have some of our Moors on here making their comments. Oh, go ahead, brother Yusuf. Hold on. Yeah.
It's love.
Yeah.
Just to add on to what the Green Sheik was saying, I never seen so many. I was telling them earlier, I never seen so many people be mad at the Moors in one video ever. Out of the almost 3 years I've been doing videos with the Green Sheik, I've never seen this. Never. I don't even know what happened. I'm sitting there looking, just reading the chat for a while, and then out of nowhere, they just came in all at the same time too. They all just came in swarming at the same time. Colonists, mad. I never even thought they would come over to our channel because they knew we knew the truth. Like, we knew what was really going on. And they didn't want to seem illiterate, so they would just ignore the Moors. These people came on here thinking we won't just kick caveman back in the cave. Like, we study. This the wrong channel to come on. We study. Us Moors study overwhelmingly. We're gonna bring back some books and some facts today, because I read a lot of comments in the chat. All of them just emotional opinions, no facts. Emotional opinions from cave people. Troglodyte. Talking crazy. Talking crazy in the chat. Like this ain't Morocco. Like, we not in Morocco. We home. And for Europeans to come here and try to make any assumption or anything, try to make any decisions, that only way that happens is if you dealing with dumb nigger. We're Moors. We're the art and cult of civilization. These Europeans who hate Moors, they know that. They know that. They just keep being mad because Moors keep calling them cavemen and telling Troglodyte he has to go back to where he came from. That's going to make people mad. I understand that, but it's the truth. It's the truth. We were shipping Europeans by the thousands, hundreds and thousands across these waters, and now all of a sudden we was the slaves in all of this crap. That's BS. BS. We asked them for some documents or some slave ships to show us the proof. They bring us a rusted, spray painted chain that they got from Walmart and said that, oh, here goes an ancient chain from slavery. That's BS. They got them in aisle 17 in Walmart. I seen them. That's not real. But then when Moors, we bring up books that Europeans wrote about Europeans being shipped by Moors across the Atlantic, across the Mediterranean, by the hundreds and thousands. For hundreds of years, we were kidnapping and ransoming so-called modern Europeans. And now we have to go through all of that. We have to say so-called Europeans because we know that that's modern. These people weren't called Europeans until after the 1500s. They weren't even known as Europeans. They were called Christians. Now, that's not a nationality. For these modern Europeans to say out their mouth that Moor is not a nationality. You guys weren't even called Europeans until after the 1500s. But Moor is not a nationality. You guys never even had a nationality. We don't even know what to call you. You guys just steal other people's birthright, take their name, and try to bury them just like the so-called Jews did to the Moors in Palestine. Go over there, wipe out a whole people, and now say that that's Israel. That's not Israel. That's Palestine. But Europeans still practicing inquisitional practices to conquer and take over Moorish lands, which we know is dumb verses, etc. And it still continues on to this day. And they try to use slick words to disguise the inquisitional practices that's still going on today. That's what liars have to do. I tell y'all all the time in class. My mama said, once you tell a lie, you gotta tell another one. And I noticed that Europeans over the hundreds of years, they have to continue to tell lies. They have to. They have no choice but to tell lies. Because once you start telling the truth, you have to change the language. And then once you change the language, we know that you'll start noticing that they're a fraud. Once you correct the language and you know what words mean, but they will never speak like that. I was thinking about it earlier. I said, my people think they talking slang. We have nothing on these Europeans. They have taken every connotative way, which is slang, and try to apply it to what today's world should be. That's slang talk. Connotative speaking is slang talk. They're speaking slang and trying to get away with it. And then when the Moors come with dictionaries, they want to say slick stuff like, oh, you guys are using out-of-date dictionaries. That's a colonist answer. And it's an opinion. It's not factual. That's your opinion. But it's an opinion. You want people to use slang dictionaries, which will be connotatively speaking, which is colored. It's fake. You can't speak connotatively. That holds no nothing. It holds nothing. You're talking baby talk, goo goo gaga. That's not real. And they still do it to this day. They still do it. I told one of them in the chat. I told him the definition of race, which we know is raza, which means it's a Latin term for a defective piece of cloth. His response was, Moors are from North Africa. You're still a racist. How do you see? How do you respond back to that? Like the incompetency of Troglodyte and cavemen to keep it up too. I couldn't even respond to that. I'm like, this guy's not real. He's not even real. If you're talking this way, you can't be real. They love saying we're not Moors. Okay. My question is to that. If we're not Moors, what are we? If we're not Moors, what are we then? What's our nationality if we're not Moors? That's for anybody. They sit there and act like they can just pull names out of the sky and say that's what we are. No. And then my second question to that would be, how can cavemen determine who we are? Another one said, Moors didn't even call themselves Moors. Europeans called them Moors. Since when cavemen came out of the cave talking? How that happen? How that happen? How cavemen came? I want to see caveman dictionary. Like they got Oxford. I want to see caveman dictionary, because we know the Moors were the cultivators of Oxford University. We built that. #2 prestige school in the world right now. Moors built that. I want to see caveman's dictionary, because that's all that they should have. And I want to see the word Moor in caveman dictionary. It's not gonna happen. I told the Grand Sheik, they just be talking to be talking. So let them talk, because they'll kill themselves. They love hearing themselves talk. I asked them, we already know. We want to see, Moors I want to see papers that say you can be here in Morocco. I only know a few Europeans who got paperwork from Moors to say that they could be here. And that's only a handful. Fingers left over, like the prophet said, that could show paperwork that they should be here in Morocco. Everybody else is going to pull up corporation papers that say that they a member of Walmart, and then mad when you show them the facts to the contrary, how they are a member of Walmart. Like that, your nationality can't be United Statesian. That's not a bloodline. And your nationality can't be American, because what are you? You're from Peru? You're from El Salvador? Where are you from? Where are you from? Because we know up here, this Morocco. This Morocco. You can get the book, Ancient America by Frank Joseph, on page 123. It says, European conquerors did not use native names for the land they seized because they sought to lend greater legitimacy to the New World holdings by rechristening them with Old World versions to ease the indigenous acceptance of their foreign conquerors. Thus, the original Colombian, listen to this, the original Colombian Amaraca was changed to the America of Amerigo Vespucci for political reasons. It says it right there, Amaraca, Amuraca, page 123. The Lost Colonies of Ancient America by Frank Joseph. So the original Colombian was Amaraca, was changed to America of Amerigo Vespucci for political reasons. For political reasons. That's a code word for inquisitional practices. As soon as they start saying political border lines, that's inquisitional practices. They start bringing up Amaraca was changed to America for political reasons. They talking about Spanish inquisitional practices. This again, The Lost Colonies of Ancient America by Frank Joseph. It says, since then, however, many students of history have wondered why both continents would have been Christianed after the feminized Latin version of Amerigo to signify an entire new world. However awkwardly, supporting an alternative less dubious for America, Columbus himself on his third voyage to the New World met native people who introduced themselves as Amaracos. On his second voyage to Hispaniola, Alonso de Ojeda identified the same tribe of Amaracos. Again, The Lost Colonies of Ancient America by Frank Joseph. Now, and he's a European. This not some Moor that wrote this book. This is a European that wrote the book, telling you the original titles was called, and the so-called indigenous people of the land told them. This Amaracas or Amaracos, telling them, Frank Joseph, this ain't, oh, you Moors, it's some fantasy. No, Frank Joseph wrote this. This is in his book. This is your guy. This is your boy. There's plenty of videos. You can go. In my other day, I was telling the Grand Street, why they don't go debate Michelle Gibson? Go on her channel. She's another European exposing the fact that this is Morocco, that they European colonists have taken the knowledge of the Moors and suppressed it and hid it, took it for their own likening. And now they give the masses this BS now. But the Moors had stuff that they inventing now, we've been had. She's showing that on her channel. Why aren't Europeans debating her? Go debate her. Go debate Frank Joseph. But they won't do that. They'll come on moorish channels. And so we already know that's an operative. That's an agent. You got an agenda. Somebody's paying you to do what you're doing. You're not coming on here to educate the people genuinely. You're doing this to cause problems. I'm listening in the class yesterday. The reporter lady lied on Brother Jamal and said he was teaching people how to shoot what she calls officers. We know that they're highwaymen, but Jamal's teaching that on his channel. We all watch Brother Jamal's channel all day. You never even seen that AK or whatever it's called go off. It's never even been off shot. It's not on camera. We've never seen it. So how is he teaching people to shoot so-called officers? Just lied. That was like the biggest. I've never heard nothing like that. That was incredible for her to scoop that low. And now I'm sitting there all night thinking like, wow, they would really scoop that low. Like she basically wants him harmed by saying that. Like by saying that, because that's gonna make every other highwayman or so-called officer, every time they encounter Moors now, they're gonna think of what she said. Anyone that listened to what she had to say, that reporter. Oh, Islam, Grand Sheik.
Islam, Moor.
I didn't know you was back.
I was just taking in your class. Yo, pretend like I'm not here. Yo, pretend like I'm not here.
No. I was waiting for you, man. I was just waiting for you. They had me hot, Grand Sheik. Don't come at my bloodline, man.
Yo,
just don't come at my bloodline.
They were hard on the bloodline. I just don't know what activated it. Like, what activated this?
Yeah, that's my whole question.
This is a freaking, the hell is going on? Yo, messages. Like, these messages weren't even there last night when I when I freaking turned the computer off.
Oh, still mad.
Yo. Like, why are they so mad?
They woke up and came on there mad still. Like, you know what? I got some more to say. Like, what? What you mean? Like, so who sent you?
Yep. Somebody sent them. This is part why they're mad. Russian government once funded a scientist's quest to make an ape-human hybrid. 1926. Whose time was that around again? Who was around during the 1920s? Telling us about we're not Negro, black, colored, and we're not Negro had nothing to do with being, because a Negro is a beast. A Negro is a beast. An ape human beast is a Negro. And remember, this is not what we say. This is what Smithsonian says. These are Europeans that's saying this.
That's their guy.
Supported and financed by the Bolshevik government, Ivanov set off for Africa to catch some chimpanzees and orangutans, and he hoped to use one to artificially inseminate a human woman. If he crossed an ape and a human and produced viable offspring, then that would mean Darwin was right about how closely related we are, says Etkind. We are doesn't mean Asiatics.
Nope.
We are doesn't mean humanity.
Nope.
We are doesn't mean the world. We are doesn't have anything to do with anybody but the Paleolith, the caveman, the Neanderthal.
Just real quick, Grand Sheik.
Go ahead, more.
Darwin only did tests on the people in his household. He didn't do a bunch of tests on a bunch of different people. He did his family. That's what he did. He did his family. He didn't go doing the whole world. He did the people in his house. That's Darwin's family. That's not I ain't got nothing to do with me. Cause that's why I be looking up all that stuff, everything. I look up everything these people have to try to say that's what it is. I looked up all of that. Like, no, because once you tell a lie, you gotta tell another lie. So I know they have to even lie about how, you know, a natural person was created or came on Earth. They have to lie about that whole scenario. They have to. I yield the floor, Green Sheet.
Payne suggests that the real reason compelling the work may have been even darker. There is a third possible motive, that Ivanov's research was part of an ambitious plan to transform society. The high-ranking Bolsheviks who backed Ivanov were intellectuals who saw science as a means of releasing their dream of a socialist utopia. Politicians could change the political system, nationalize industries, and turn farms into vast collectives. But the task of transforming people was entrusted to scientists. The aim was to match people to the socialist design of Soviet society. The way to do that was through positive eugenics, using AI to speed up the spread of desirable traits, a willingness to live and work communally, for instance, and to get rid of primitive traits such as competitiveness, greed, and the desire to own property. There were many projects aimed at changing humanity. Ivanov's was the most extreme, but if he succeeded, then that would show that humans could be changed in radical and creative ways. Which is all stuff you're seeing right now with 2-year-old know how to use iPad. Using AI to speed up the spread of desirable traits. Using the artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, like if they have nanomites, you don't know what type of weed you're smoking. You know what's in there. They have nanomites. You're looking at water, that might be nanomites. There's a darker of everybody. Everybody has a dark side. Everybody has the snap moment. And some people have passed that threshold. And right now they're mad for no reason, but there's a reason. And it has nothing to do with who you're mad at. It has to do with self. It has to do with they could not get rid of the primitive traits such as competitiveness, greed, and desire to own property. So some of these people take it on themselves, they take your stuff. Oh, for sure they'll take yours. Because they're a hybrid species. And then this mindset has transcended time and genealogy, that you have people living with this mindset that's not theirs. This competitive, greedy desire to own property mindset. That when you leave here, you can't even do anything with it anyways. So what do you mean? Why do you need 50 rooms at your spot? For what? On any given day, there's 10 people in there, tops. Positive eugenics, they say. Positive eugenics. If that's the positive eugenics, what's the negative eugenics? If this madness that they're doing right now, that they're so out of touch of who it is that they really are. And then now, because of information age, they're finding out who they are, and then they can't accept it, and they're mad. Don't be mad. Accept it. Accept it. Because there's no way that in one night, all these people are jumping on our platform to try to put us on to something like we don't know what's up. Right? We know exactly what's up. Don't get mad. Don't get mad. Tanetter.org, Moors Heads. Moors heads refer to the heraldic images of the heads of Africans represented on coats of arms formed throughout Europe. Throughout Europe. So for all these foreigners who have problems with Moors, don't forget what your origin is. Stop playing games. Don't forget, Moors, we know ourselves. So we know we ruled the world. We know that we ruled the world. I don't care who wants to say that they're the founders of something. You might have founded whatever you found, but Moors ruled the world. Deny it. Deny that. Europeans called us Moors. Guess who the Europeans are? Well, you thought Europeans are pale people. That's what you were taught. You see? That's the same caveman mindset that we're talking about.
Yep.
You adopting the thought processing of the caveman. That you're going to tell me that Europeans made up the term Moor? Okay, well, we're telling you Europeans were dark-skinned people. So what's the problem? European made up the term Moor. Okay, what's the problem? Who were the first Europeans? Pale people that you see today? Oh, those were the first Europeans. Okay, all right. But if those pale people were the first Europeans, how come they're not on the family crest?
Oh, whoa.
How come Europeans' families are not going to have them on it? It's going to have the slave on it. Which European you know have hair like that and have lips like that? Which European you know has hair like that, the one at the top, the ab falter back? Which European looks like that? None.
Islam Grand Sheet.
Islam more.
I just want to read something real quick, just to back everything you were saying.
Go ahead. Take your time.
Just to back how you said the Moors ruled the world, just to back how you said the first Europeans were Moors, just to back all of that. Coming from my favorite book. Luella J. Hall is the author. Luella J. Hall. The name of the book is The United States and Morocco, 1776 to 1956. On page 11, she says, by location and history, Northwest Africa, because they always say, you know, Moors are from Northwest Africa. By location and history, Northwest Africa belongs to 3 continents. The first one, she says, is Europe. But we know Europe is not a continent, but we can continue on, but we know that. But Northwest Africa belongs to 3 continents, Europe, Asia, as well as Africa. Now, if Europe is in Northwest Africa and the Moors are from Northwest Africa, like the Grand Sheikh said, who was the first Europeans? The Moors. Llewellyn J. Hall just told you, Europe is in Northwest Africa. Asia is Northwest Africa, as well as Africa. But then she tells you, and is geographically part of the Atlantic community. Don't the Atlantic Ocean come over here? That's the whole world. That's the back to Grand Sheik. Telling you, the Moorish Empire included the whole world. Europe, Asia, Africa, and part of the Atlantic community. That's all over here. That's all over here. Atlantis is here. All of the islands and stuff, right to the Atlantic, all of that. That's right over here. Just to back the Grand Sheik again. I can't believe they would think like we don't know, like we making this stuff up.
Yeah.
So, like you said, if more is a European word, well, it backs everything. That's why you guys are called modern. I love when the mother said it.
Yeah.
She said modern Europeans, allegedly. I said, now look. Now, what is that? Allegedly, modern Europeans.
Allegedly.
Like we're the Moors. We're the art and cult of civilization. You're in Llewellyn J. Hall. She's the author of United States of Morocco, 1776 and 1956. She's a European too. That's their people. Telling them. Like, yeah, we know it's the Moors. You guys. She has a whole, okay. I'm gonna turn my camera on real quick, man.
Well, do your thing, Mark. Hold on.
I hope you can see it. You can blow it up.
Oh, yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Can you see that?
Yeah. Tribes from something.
The first word highlighted.
Oh, Negroid?
Negroid. Right.
Negroid.
Okay. Llewellyn J. Hall, right? It says Negroid. Dynastic periods of Moroccan history. 788 to 1790. Who? I thought we wasn't the Moors though. We know that Negro is a derogatory term, but we know who they referring to when they say that. They talking about Moors. It's telling you that dynastic period. Dang, I want them to see that, man. Right there, 788 to 1790. Llewellyn J. Hall. Let me get the. Go debate Llewellyn. This is not, I didn't say this. Llewellyn wrote it. Book is crazy thick. Blends in with the dictionaries.
Yeah, looks just like 5th edition.
She's going in.
5th edition.
She goes, she look. So telling you, when they say the Moorish ruled and stuff, but she's telling you that that the dynastic periods, that the so-called Negroids, that was the top of the page, which is the whole book is about Morocco and United States. Well, on page 32, she immediately talks about Negroids ruling it from 788 to 1790. How are we not Moors? How are we not Moors? That whole thing bugs me out.
Yeah, tripping.
And again, if Europe is in Northwest Africa, which means the Moors are the Europeans, who are you guys? Who are you? Who are you? Just coming on here making all this noise. Who are you? Mad. Just mad. And that's why, because time's up. I told them yesterday, and the reason why they're really mad is because their generation is going to be the ones to witness it. That their time is up. Now you're witnessing it. They got to say something, but the ones who know, and it's like, oh, the only way I can see the end of this light being good is if we get on the side with the Moors, and that's what some Europeans are starting to do. Get on the side of the Moors, and when you check the history, Europeans tell you it was a great time to be a slave to the Moors.
Yeah,
they loved it.
They knew it. You come from a barn and inherit a castle, and now you're talking about we're not Moors. We're not Moors. We are not Moors, huh? That's what they thought.
And then they want to tell you Morocco's over there. But then you can pull up all of those places that so-called consist of Morocco, Algiers, Tunis, Tripoli, all of ETC. You find all of those names over here, even Morocco. You find that here. All of those places are here and predate the terms over there. Morocco, what is it? Morocco, Indiana, so-called Morocco, Indiana is older than the kingdom of Morocco over there in 1956. Morocco, Indiana is older than that. Morocco, Indiana is older than that. Get out of here. Are you serious?
Well, this was a good one. Ibn Bey asked them, why are pilgrim people that are not indigenous to anywhere here always talking identity? Where do you connect back to? Do not say Europe, because we put y'all there.
Right. Yep. Yep.
Where do you return back to? And again, you know what I mean? We know there's some good Europeans out there. We're not talking about you guys. No.
But like the teacher used to tell you, it's going to be some bad apples to ruin it for the rest of you guys.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now you wondering why y'all can't go on recess and stuff like that. You can't go outside because of these two. They don't know how to sit down and shut up. Now everybody's staying inside now.
Yep.
And now everybody looks at those two like, yo, come on. Oh, yep. Yep. Correct your people.
Yep. Right. Virgo is
what we're doing.
Virgo is one of the best scammer catchers. You keep showing the Moroccan flag, claiming it's a Moor's flag when it is not. It is the flag of Morocco. Also, Morocco is in North Africa, not America. You all interpret Noble Drew Ali's book incorrectly. You all try to scam real Moors with fake passports and ID cards, fake bonds. You don't even know where Moors originate from.
That might be a black guy.
I never seen this individual ever.
Never.
Right? Never seen them ever. Never seen them ever. Never ever have I seen them.
How? Because for them to say that we're reading Noble Drew Ali's book wrong, that means you read Noble Drew Ali's book.
They had to have got it. And then they got Casper up there, like they're they're doing something. Right, where these people come from? And like you were saying earlier when we were talking, they never show themselves.
Never.
Always showing somebody else. Always.
Never show themselves. They operatives. I think YouTube hires these people.
Somebody hires them. There's no way this is just, they're just bored and they do this. No way.
You're getting paid for that.
Yeah. But Moor is not a nationality. It is a description used by Europeans. People from Morocco call themselves Al-Maghriba in Maghrebi Arabic or Imyarabian, the prominent language of the Amazigh. Moor is the anglicized version of the Latin word mori, which is the word the Romans used to describe the people of northern Libya. And again, let's see what some other people say. Let's see what some other people say.
Yeah.
Because it's really interesting that certain people don't have the same perspective. And, you know, who am I going to go with? Am I going to go with Sylvester Johnson, who has published book, recorded in the Library of Congress? So Cambridge University Press putting his book out. African American Religions, Colonialism, Democracy, and Freedom, Sylvester Johnson. Moorish Americans. The Moorish Science Temple of America, founded by Timothy Drew, also began to assert a black ethnic identity during the era of Garveyism. Drew would come to identify himself as Noble Drew Ali, the divinely inspired messenger, a prophet, whose message to so-called Negroes achieved its salvific efficacy primarily through its revelation that blacks possessed a distinctive nationality. At the heart of this message was the proclamation that these so-called Negroes were in fact Moorish Americans, descended from the ancient Moabites, among whom the biblical character Ruth was a celebrated ancestor. By adopting the term Moorish, Ali was able to exploit a rich etymological history that had been used by Europeans until the 19th century to denote Muslims who were not necessarily black, particularly those inhabiting the Iberian Peninsula since the 8th century, and blacks who were not necessarily Muslim, often interchangeably. Ali taught that Moorish Americans possessed an ancient history and had practiced a distinct ethnic religion, Islam. So Drew Ali told Moors, get a good European education so I can use you. Get a good European education so I can use you. So when he told Moors to go get a good European education, he already knew, hands down, that a European education will be a Moorish education.
Absolutely.
Because the Europeans were taught by the Moors, and the Moors taught these Europeans every single thing that they know right now. And when you go to the coat of arms of these European families, you're going to see Moors on them, not Europeans, in the context that you're thinking what a European is. That's a fiction. And notice that all these Moors have crowns on them. And they're wearing gold. And they don't look like the typical Negro picture. Islam more.
Islam. Nope. I wanted to add on. Dang, man. I'm trying to find it in this page just so I can give them the facts. I don't want to make them think it's my opinion, because they'll make it seem like we made that up when you said Moors taught these Europeans.
Yeah.
Where is it at, man?
Right now, again, just to go back, Ali was able to exploit a rich etymological history that has been used by Europeans. Who are the Europeans? The Europeans aren't some pale people. These are the Europeans. The Europeans were you. The Moors. Not the Negro, black, color, or Ethiopian. Germany is supposed to be some European place.
Yeah.
The Moorish presence there is because of nothing that the Moors did. Moors did nothing, but they're on all the family crests in Europe, but they did nothing. Those are just slaves. Who you think you're talking to? You found the thing, Mark?
I'm about to right now, but that was crazy, because the whole thing is how could those pictures be slaves? How? Slaves don't get gold earrings. Okay.
And this is what gets them mad. So Jose Pimenta Bay said, hit him in the bloodline.
Oh, yeah.
Hit him in the bloodline. Start talking about the Moors. And their connection to the Moors. Talk about that. See how long they want to talk with you. See how long they want to talk with you. He believed, Ali proclaimed to his followers that they possessed a distinctive ethnic heritage. He believed that if Black Americans embraced their true Moorish nationality, as he termed it, the U.S. government under which they lived and all other nations would respect them and would regard them as a dignified people with history who merited respect. history, who merited respect. That's the level of people that we're saying we. When we say that we're Moors, that's what we tie ourselves to. Right? These dignified people of history that no matter what, you have to respect them. I don't care what you heard. You're going to respect the Moors. You're just going to. That's just what it is. You don't have an opinion. You're entitled, but for now, when the Moors are running stuff, because we already know that you're violating. As soon as you start talking about setting up people that they shoot police and all that stuff, and you never even heard a gun get cocked back. And talk of police present or whatever. And they're going to go that high. That's no different than the dirties who say, oh, because somebody asked for a delegation of authority or then got murdered, active Moors did it. That's why that happened. Because that's how active Moors talk. And you see where those people are at now for trying their propaganda.
Yep.
Right. Remember, all this is nothing that they can claim.
Nope. I got that that insert. If you.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yep. Just to back what you were saying, that the whole world. Well, we know for a fact that these Europeans got their knowledge from the Moors. Like we taught the Europeans. This is coming from the book Gateway to Atlantis by Andrew Collins, another one of their guys, European. Gateway to Atlantis, Andrew Collins, on page 191. It says such a solution might seem at first like an odd one, especially as the Moors were quite obviously being evicted from a land they could quite easily be called their own. However, it is a fact that throughout the Moorish occupation of Spain and Louisiana, a considerable amount of contact existed between Arabs and Christians. Now, he's telling you, it is a fact. Many Europeans clearly recognize the wisdom to be gained from the secret teachings of Islamic mysticism and philosophy, which thrived in the Moorish centers of learning, such as Cordoba and Toledo. New knowledge, so this is the knowledge, the new knowledge Europeans were gaining by coming to sit at the feet of the Moors. New knowledge, which included algebra, astronomy, cartography, geography, geometry, mathematics, navigation, and classical philosophy, was accessible to those willing to put aside racial and religious intolerance. There is no question that the Moors introduced many of these key sciences to the medieval world. Again, he said, there is no question that the Moors introduced many of these key sciences to the medieval world. One more time. There is no question that the Moors introduced many of these key sciences to the medieval world. It's not even a question. Just a European saying it. It's not even a thought. I don't even know what's this whole big old deal about. It's not even a question. It's simple. Like the Grand Master Teacher Todd says, it really wasn't even hidden. It continues. It says, amongst those who recognize the importance of the Moorish centers of learning were members of the clandestine military orders such as the Knights Templars. And that's another thing. Why they don't go at their grandfathers and grandmothers for wearing Islamic and Moorish attire? Why aren't they calling them fake Moors? Call them fake. They be wearing our stuff in secret. These Europeans, grandfathers and grandmothers, mothers, dads, all of them, some Shriner, Mason, whatever, wearing Moorish attire in secret. But you won't call grandma fake. You won't call your grandmother a fake Moor. Oh, you're trying to be a Moor grandma? Like, you ain't gonna say that.
Now let me ask you this question. Just because of this whole thing with the Europeans talking against Moorish whatever, do you or have you had any conversations with any European Masons that gave up the goods to you?
Yo, she's my great aunt. It's my grandmother's sister. She married a European. He's 85 years old, 33rd degree Master Mason. He's Thomas Paine's great grandson, Ronald Paine. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. This is the guy. Germans, because there were German scientists of what's the name of that company? Monsanto's. Like, this is the guy. He's the guy. He's the guy. If you looking for any, like, oh, these people in history, he's the guy. They just sitting there getting old now. He gives me everything. Everything Moorish. He gets his Masonic magazines in the mail. I get them every month. I get the all up-to-date ones every month. I know all their business. But he's giving it to me because he knows, well, you know the truth. It's all your stuff. Here you go. There's no issue with this with him. He still plays because they stuck in their ways. He still calls our people so-called black or whatever. But we had to talk. I bet you he don't call me black. He don't play. He knows I know the whole game, the entire game. And all we do is build. Like, we can build on all the sciences. He's taught me hand signals. He taught me what it means if one of the compasses is in front of the square, what that means. It breaks down everything. He's like, what am I going to do with the knowledge? I'm about to die. That's basically how he's and giving me everything. I've gotten Masonic Bibles because the Masons got their own Bible. I got Masonic Bibles from this guy. I seen, because he had his apron and stuff is in a treasure set that's older than me and the Grand Sheik together. It's the oldest thing I ever seen in my life. He has all his Scottish Rite Freemasonry stuff in it, and it looks straight from the early 50s, because he was born in 34. Became a Mason in the 50s. Like, he gives me all the being. I almost like talking to the man, because it's like, dang, man, I can really talk. He's like the only person I can talk to, really, because he's on the science that I'm on. Like, out here, this 33rd degree Master Mason, so-called, we have great conversations. Spills all the beans, and the incompetency causes destruction. He loves saying that. He loves saying that. Just great, spills all the beans and gives me everything. I got a 24 karat Masonic pendant that they give them on their 50-year anniversary of being a Mason. He gave it to me. He gave me everything. That's their guy. You know what I mean? And he's trying to roll. He's trying to roll with it because he already knows. He tells me, he's like, he smirks about it though, because he'll tell me, like, you're having a hard time getting your people to be on what you on, huh? And I'm like, dang, man, like, you're a totally different person when somebody else comes in his living room. Like, you don't talk like that. Totally different person when it's me and him. Like totally different guy. But when somebody comes in there, he plays this I'm old and gullible. And I'm like, brother, don't like, that's crazy how you act like that. But is elitely smart. Like, I'm like, dang, man, you know a lot of things. Been and showed me a lot. But it's his brother who was the guy who was doing the rituals. And he explained to me how you guys are the ones who can do the rituals and nothing happens. His brother died from schizophrenia because of the rituals he was doing. He says the powers that be took over his body, and my brother died in schizophrenia in the Jewish nursing home center that my Moabite used to work at. Like, that's how all this stuff is crazy to me. Like, I think about all this stuff. All this stuff is crazy to me. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. That's amazing. He's like telling me, like, you guys can do those rituals. We can't do that. Because it's in my studying, I'm not saying it is what it is, but I think it has something to do with the melon and the bloodline. You know what I mean? Like, that's why they can't necessarily do the rituals. So it's almost forcing them in their lodges or whatever just to play, play games, play boys and girls club.
Shit.
Gave me, that European man, gave me everything. He gave me a lot of things, man. He gave me a lot of things, and I still get all the everything. Mason come in there. I was there because they'll come to your house after a while. The lodge he's part of, they came to the house and asked him if he wanted to have a Masonic funeral. I thought that was crazy. I knew they had him.
He's been in it that long.
Yo, he's been in it that long. They came to the house and asked him if he wanted to have a Masonic funeral. And nope, he wants to get cremated with the Moabite, my aunt, and ashes thrown in the backyard. I said, now look at that.
Thought you were gonna say stick back to Europe or some shit.
Nope. Put me with the Moabite. Put me with the Moabite. Throw us in the backyard. That's what he wants. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Because of colonization, his family, they own their own cemetery.
For real.
There's one spot left, and it was his. He gave it to his niece, who was another, his niece is a European, but he gave it to her because he wants to be thrown in the ashes with my aunt Helen, who is a true Moabitess. My aunt Helen is a true Moabitess. all the way through. And no issues from him at all. Never. That's why I'm like, and he loves it. He does the whole thing. They think you're crazy. I know. I'm like, and he says that, like, they think you crazy. I know. I'm like, what? They be talking about that thing on your head.
Spill the beans.
Yo, he spills the beans. He knows he gave me his, he was trying to get me in contact with his brother's wife, the guy his brother who's another 30 who died or whatever, because where they're at, they have the brother's library was there. You're the ritual guy when they hold their meetings. So he had a extensive library, and he had got me in contact with the wife, and she was like, oh, we left those in the house. I was like, what? Because they moved.
Oh, okay, for real.
And they just left them books in the house. And I was like, dang, man.
That's crazy.
It was probably Alexander in there. You know what I mean? Library Alexander in there looking crazy.
Yeah.
And they just left all the books right there. This is and he's the one that confirmed it. When I remember I was watching a video with Master Teacher Taj when he said they're all Germans. That's what they really are. He confirmed that to me because regularly everybody thinks my husband, he's English. He's English, you know, he's like Thomas Paine, grandson, he was an Englishman, and he's like, nah, my mother's German. And I was like, oh. He was like, he's looking at me like, yeah, but I don't like people knowing that because, you know, Hitler. And I'm like, yeah, that's all BS though. Yeah. I said, you don't like when somebody do BS on you, huh? we be stinging each other with jokes. You know, I'm like, you don't like when somebody does that BS to you. And he just looks at me like, yeah. I'm like, yeah. Stop. Why y'all doing that to us then?
Yeah.
Don't do that to my people then.
No, they need to get that thing on their head. They're playing around, so they're gonna get it.
Yep.
Get it until they get the thing on their head.
Yep.
So
and now, of course he's gonna tell it even more because he's 85. If they do something to him, it don't matter. Y'all gonna help him. He can't even use the bathroom correctly. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like you ain't doing him a favor or whatever. That's how he looking at it. You know, when you be around old people, because I go over there every day, and once they start talking about death all the time, I'll be like, okay, but it don't bother me because I know what death is. If I was dumb nigger, it probably would scare the average person. You know what I mean? Death is kin. Death is a friend. That ain't nothing to me no more. I ain't worried about that. But the way they talk, he's getting ready. That's why he spills the beans to me, And my aunt too. She's a daughter of ISIS. She's in the Moose Lodge. She's all of that. All of that. They all of that. But when they work with me, they like, because I know the truth. And it'd be crazy when I go over there. I'd be like, yo, that's crazy. Like, you guys know I know the truth and treat me totally different. But then as soon as somebody regular comes over, they play the I'm old and gullible role. I'll be dying laughing at that.
That's crazy.
But these modern Europeans that's been hating on the Moors today and yesterday, that's unbelievable. Unbelievable. When I'm sitting with the 33rd and he all that stuff came from the Moors. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. I'm like, so what's the secret? And they know it's the same thing. It's suicide if we told y'all who y'all was. Like, what do you mean? Like, because that's my whole thing. I'm like, so why can't y'all just tell us like that? It's suicide. It's not like it's not like it used to be. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's and you know how they get. They're not gonna just get rid of you. They're gonna try to make it where everything's suffering that you love. You know what I'm saying? That's how they'll try to do you. The way and he explains that. I done heard Masonic deaths. He telling me stories about people who went against what they were supposed to be doing, and the powers that be had to handle their situation. And I'm like, hey, y'all really be doing that? Yeah, like, but I know they do it. But for somebody to talk about it, yeah, because I've been in this for 50 plus years. Yeah, still paying his dues. Still paying his dues. I know he does. I put the damn thing in the mailbox.
That's real.
Yo, it's still going. It's not over. It's still going on. It's not.
None the Moors. But it just lets us know that we must be onto something.
Yep.
Because when I
That's
was
it
black,
right there.
I hear nothing about nobody getting their door kicked in when they were black. Nobody getting dragged out the car and all that stuff because they didn't want to give a license and none of that. None of that. So there must be something with this. There must be something with this.
Yep.
No. Yeah, we didn't want to do all day. Just wanted to, get a little bit with the Moors. I want to say peace and love to all. Give thanks. This should be cleared up now who the Europeans are and if Moors are a nationality and all that. If not, oh well, they'll learn the hard way. A hard head makes a soft ass. We love that
Every
one.
time.
We love that one. There's a lot more. You got anything to close out?
Yeah, give thanks to your platform. Again, give thanks to you, Grand Sheik. Give thanks to all the Moors in Canaanland. Canaanland, not no damn Candyland. Fat. And all the Islam to all the Moors in the chat. And honors to the Prophet, Islam.
Islam, Moors.